Now that you've got your hardware sorted out, you know what machine you want to use to install the thing on, you need to do the installation. And the installation is actually a fairly straightforward process. Um, you are here, we are on Seattle 6 right now, and that's the machine we're going to do the install on. Uh, and we can look over here on Frognet 2. Seattle 6 is online. So the Frognet 2 monitor is up. And we're going to just do an install over it. So this is Seattle 5 here, and on Seattle 5, I built the TGZ file that we're going to use for the install. This is the TGZ file. On Seattle 6 in /update, I downloaded the TGZ file, so it's right here, and then I unpacked it, which is it gave me Frognet World, Frognet Reset, and Frognet Install.tgz. So what we're going to do now is just do Frognet install. And there's an option on this. If you use -- preserve, then it will not, and it is Frognet already, then it won't ask you for the host name or anything like that. It'll just use what it has. But we're going to go ahead and do this as an overwrite. And so we're just going to do a Frognet install. The first thing it's going to do is ask us for the database password. Now, this is a set of the database password, so you don't have to know any existing password. So this is a new password, and you can use any password you want to. Personally, I like to use the same password on all my machines, just because it makes it easier when I go into the database. But you may not ever have to go into the database, so you may not care. Now, once we put the password in, the next thing it's going to do is remove the Frognet host that's already there. And as soon as it does that, we can look at the Frognet monitor in Seattle 2 and see that Seattle 6 is marked down. So Seattle 6 is no longer a Frognet as far as we're concerned. Once it has removed the old Frognet, it's going to do a system update. And the system update is going to start with an apt-get update and make sure that everything is good there. Once it's done its apt-get update on the root, it's going to do get the right packages. Then it makes sure that pip is up to date on the machine, and it goes forward with things like this. So we can watch it as it's doing its thing. This process is going to take about 4 or 5 minutes, I think. And when it's done, the machine will ask us for some additional information. So we're just going to let this go ahead and run here right now while we come up here and take another look at Seattle 5. And this program that I ran on Seattle 5 to create the tarball, it's called Frognet Build Release. And so once you get one of your machines set up the way that you want it to be, you run Frognet Build Release, and then that gives you the TGZ file you copy out to all the rest of your machines. You install them, and everything comes up as a clone of the original. You can edit Frognet install.shell. It's in user local bin /installer. And when you put it in, the thing will run whatever you put in there. You can also edit the script, the build script, Frognet build release, to include whatever additional files or services or whatever that you're putting on it. So the system is right now doing some updates. It's doing, if we look back in the log here, it's doing the Python V environment. Well, so before I did the Python V environment, it came down here, and this is where we last left it, where it was installing pip. So then it sets up IP forwarding, sets up the IP tables, sudoers. It extracts the Frognet world. Now what it's doing with Frognet world is just a straight overlay from /. So everything writes onto the system from root, and we just, anything that was there gets nuked. So just be aware of that when you're doing this. It injects the secrets that it needs to, gets some more configuration environment stuff, and then it sets up the Python virtual environment that it needs. This is often going to involve installing some more packages, but everything should be cached, so you're ready to go. And when it gets done with this, let's see. So it's got quite a few of these that it's updating. Yeah, when it gets done with this, it uses the simulator. Now the system has a very complete, very nice simulator built into it that we really encourage you to become familiar with and run, because it is the way that from one machine you can simulate an entire topology. And run your own code and see how it would all work. The simulator was built using it's not like a game or anything like that. I worked for Boeing on the 737, and the simulator was the simulator. We drove the autopilot with a simulated aircraft, simulated world. So I know how simulators work, and that's what this one is. It runs the FrogNet software using simulated routing and simulated kernel calls. Detects what interfaces are here. It's going to say we have an Ethernet and 2 WLAN interfaces on it, which is good. Going to make sure everything is all set up in Maria, which is MySQL is installed and ready. It sets up the Apache web server to make sure we're all good there. Configures DNS and mask and network manager. Then it sets up the FrogNet databases, and finally here it is asking us for its identity. Now this is its name, and the name is the name that is the domain name for this entire network. So this one we called Seattle 6, so I'm just going to call it that again with only one S. Seattle 6. You can name it Fred or Bob or Dave's room or the barn, whatever you wanted to. We don't use top-level domains. We don't use DNS. So domains can be anything you want. Every machine that is attached to the Wi-Fi network projected by this machine will become a member of the Seattle 6 network. So it'll be, machine 1.Seattle6, machine 2.Seattle6. So the name is Seattle 6. It's going to ask us for the IP address. We're going to use the same one, 10.160.160.1. And it's going to say that, there's already a machine with 10.160.160.1 on the network. Are you sure you want to do this? And we say yes, because we know what we're doing. The next thing it does is it looks and it says there's no Ethernet cable on the ETH0 port, which means there's no router attached to this hardware. So we need a interface that we can project the SSID on. So we've got 2 of them on this machine, WLAN 0 and WLAN 1. It asks us first to make sure that we do want to project the SSID, because we might want to add a router later. So we say, yes, we do want to project the SSID. It says, which interface do you want to use? We're going to use WLAN 0. And then it says, what's your country code? Because we need to know what country code it is. And the last thing it does is asks you for the passphrase. So this is the password that your users are going to have to use to attach to this network. So we're going to put in our password. Okay. And the last thing it does is ask us for confirmation. So we say yes. And then finally, that wasn't the last thing, sorry. The last thing it does is ask us if this was an internet gateway. If you intend to have this machine connect to the internet and act as a gateway for this or other machines on its gateway, on its network, right, on the entire FrogNet, then you need to say yes. If this machine will never ever touch the internet, just go ahead and say no. I recommend you just say yes, because it doesn't hurt to set it up. And then if you do go ahead and connect to the internet, the machine is ready for it. You can set it up and not have the machine connected to the gateway, not have the machine acting as a gateway, and it will work just fine. So I'm going to say go ahead and set it up, yes, and ask us for the broker host. Now the broker host is setting up the broker and things like that are what we'll go through in the video after the one after this one. Next one is Discovery on the LAN, where we're just going to talk a little bit about LAN discovery, and it's also going to talk about the wide area network too, because of the way this is set up. But after that, we will go into how to set up the broker. So the broker, in my case, you will set up the broker on your own machine. You can use whatever machine you want. I use a DigitalOcean droplet that I have used for other things. So streamingfrog.com is the IP address of that droplet. So streamingfrog.com. Okay, and it asks us for the port. Again, this is a port that you assigned. This was a port I assigned. Scheme name is HTTP or HTTPS. I just use HTTP because, frankly, the thing really is, as far as I'm concerned, it is impossible to get to from the internet. The port it opens up is a WireGuard port, and it won't even answer a ping. So if you're, well, I mean, it'll answer, the machine will answer a ping, but the WireGuard port won't answer a probe. So, you know, that's one of the challenges. If you disagree with me, go ahead and break into it. You have the machine name and you have the port right there. So go ahead and break into it and show me that I'm wrong, and we can figure out how to fix it. But that's why I just use HTTP. You can set up HTTPS if you want to set up certs and all that kind of stuff. URL path, that's in case you have some weird extension on your broker. I think I'm going to get rid of that, but it's in there for now. The final thing that it asks for, once you do connect to the network, once you do connect to the internet, it needs to know what pond you're going to be in. And your pond is your internet-wide organization, your group of collected machines. And so our pond is called Rat Pond. And that's after the 1970s TV show, The Rat Patrol, which I really liked when I was a kid. So the Rat Pond is the name of our pond, and the last thing it does then is goes out and it runs setup LilyPad, which is the way that the machine gets configured and run. Finally, when it gets done with this, it is going to restart the machine. And when it reboots the machine, then that will be the next video that we're talking about, because that is first boot after install. So it's still doing the system installation right now. And yeah, this part takes a minute. I know that there are ways that we can make this faster. I haven't had time to look into it yet. This whole process here, where it's got a 1.2 gigabyte, gigabyte download and all this kind of stuff, I'm pretty sure that we don't need all of that. But it's what's in there now because it's what I use to make it work. So once it gets done with that, as you can see, it's going through and re-enabling all the rest of the services, sets up the SSID projection, puts in our own SSL certs, all that kind of stuff. And then it's going to complain that a put failed. This put it's complaining about is part of the setup LilyPad process, and so it's expected to fail in this situation. But it's okay. It's because the system hasn't merged yet. As you can see, Seattle 6 is still down here on Seattle 2. When Seattle 6 joins the rest of the network, that'll go away. So the FrogNet, the last thing then, after everything is done, it does a FrogNet tune, which goes out and sets up Apache, configures the number of workers for it, sets up all the rest of the stuff. And then the last thing, the final thing is it says, hey, you had a failure. Do you want to reboot anyway? The failure, if you look it up, was in the simulation verification, and it has to do with the fact that the machine is offline right now. So we're going to say yes, go ahead and reboot. Again, this is something that probably should be fixed. I just haven't had time. So if you've got anybody that wants to volunteer in this area, be my guest. So the last thing we're going to do is reboot, and when we do that, the machine is going to go down and come back up, and we're going to branch into the next video. Okay, so we will see you in a minute then. Yes.